What is happening, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and welcome back to Dragon Age the Veilguard. Now, we got to talk to just about everybody. We got loads and loads of quests after last time's main event, so... Well, let's get to work. Gotta chit-chat to everybody. I think we're approaching here on the finish line, based on how everything's been moving. Probably gonna be a lot of stuff about Azenkos and... Well, we took care of the crows already, even though I don't think Lucanus is a Veilguard companion yet, so we probably still have a little bit to go on with his stuff.
Mana, hello. I assume Vorgoth's not far.
We have her, Rook. We have her. We know exactly what she's planning.
The professor asked us to research the artifact that came into the possession of Johanna Hezenkos.
She carries a gloaming lantern.
Where the hell did you come from?
Bad as it sounds.
They were fashioned in ages past by unscrupulous necromancers. The lanterns steal and concentrate life.
Johanna could use it to leech life from hundreds at a time. An endless source of power.
A lantern that sucks the life out of people.
Their very souls. But we know where Johanna will be.
She has returned to Blackthorn Manor.
Hezenkos
we'll handle
intends to
that.
hold a soiree.
That can't be her whole plan.
No, but I propose a small group infiltrate Johanna's lair while she's distracted and destroy her lantern.
There's
do
that
it.
small team
Vorgoth
cliche
and
I was talking
must
about.
return to the necropolis.
Hunt
I talked about that like an episode or two ago.
Only we could make Johanna see reason.
You tried before.
I think she's a little beyond that.
Stubborn.
Perhaps that's why she attained immortality, while I quake on the threshold. If I make my own bid for
It's a
Lichdom.
bad self-comparison to draw, Emmrich.
Oh, it's no use pretending this hasn't stirred up that old dread of my own mortality.
You could also
say it is
have a
healthy.
normal reaction to facing danger every other day.
No, it shouldn't
how you keep
be
yourself
this
alive.
crushing, this prevalent. No, Johanna was never beset by these sort of fears.
Little fear's healthy. You'll feel better once we crash her lair and destroy that lantern. Promise.
Odds are. You know, when it comes to like the fear of mortality and all that stuff, I was actually listening to a podcast with somebody from Delta Force the other day, and what did he say? I think the exact quote was, "We're all gonna die one day. I'm not gonna let it ruin my fucking day." And it's like the most accurate term for something like that I've ever heard. It's true. What was he saying in the Matrix? It's inevitable. No point fussing about it. So just enjoy what you got. The rest isn't really guaranteed, so...
Hey, I got word from my mother. She wants to talk.
Well, that's good,
Have you
right?
talked with her since?
Nope, not since I told her I was non-binary.
You mean since you
But
told
her
her to
note
fuck
said
off?
she wanted to talk about that tablet we found, the old Kunari one. Of course that's what she wants to talk about. We can go whenever you're good.
I'll let you know.
Well, that's gonna be way down my priority list. I imagine it's gonna be frustrating for me to listen to. I don't know, maybe they'll see sense and actually talk to each other like a family. I think everybody had a quest, apart from Lucanus, so let's just make the rounds. Is this always this green and pretty? Is this new to the lighthouse, all the greenery? I feel like it is. Yeah, it definitely is. No way this was all this built up before, and if it was, I do not remember.
Hey, what's shaping?
No one says what's shaping anymore.
I thought it was a dwarf thing.
Yeah, if you lived in Orzammar 20 years ago.
Wow, just trying to be nice, and what do I get? Sass.
Aw, well, I appreciate it. And I'm doing okay.
Well, that's good.
I think I just need some time to think and sort things out.
You can talk to your friends about it. I hear that helps.
It's already helping. You checking on me, I mean. I still remember every moment of it. suffocating under the weight of the Titan's pain. I couldn't see a way past it, and all I wanted was for the rest of the world to suffer too. And then everyone was there, and that's when I knew we'd be okay. That I'd be okay.
The stitching on those pants is crazy. That shit has to be so uncomfortable.
I know you would have done the same for me.
You helped me
Cross-stitched in
remember
like
who I
2,000
was.
directions.
Not some Titan, but just Lace Harding. And yes, if you ever need me like I needed you, I will be there. That is my promise to you.
Of that I have no doubts.
You know, I think about Solus sometimes. He's been trapped by his mistakes for eons. When you're blinded by sorrow and pain, you need someone to help you past it. But he's too proud for that. He believes he's alone, even when he doesn't have to be.
Well, he's alone by choice. And the only person that would have potentially been on his side and helped him, he stabbed to absorb their power and perform the ritual in this game, so I don't tend to have much sympathy.
You can't trust Solus. He manipulates people.
It's all a game to
But
him.
isn't that itself sad? We go to him with open hands, and all he can think about is how to use us.
Not sad, it's
How
more like it's
lonely must that be?
pathetic.
He's planning to kill thousands. He's beyond help, Harding.
Varric tried to talk sense into him. And look how that ended. Even the Inquisitor thinks he's too far gone, and we're past the point of talking.
I would kind of agree.
Part of me doesn't want to believe it. Because it means that there's a point when you have to give up on someone.
Unfortunately,
It means you could have given up on me.
the harsh truth is that there is a point where you should give up on somebody. People on unlimited boxes of potential. At a certain point, you can't save somebody who doesn't want to be saved, and you can't help somebody who doesn't want to be helped. Sometimes you gotta just scrape them off and let the chips fall. I mean, how many times do you let Solus make the same mistake? And it's not even a mistake when you do it on purpose, right? Like, can you even call that a mistake? Because he keeps doing it over and over and over and over and over again. And he has the same justification every time. At that point, it's not a mistake, it's a decision. And how many times do you let that go, like, with forgiveness?
Not good.
Before they just keep
Not
doing
even
it
a
again?
little bit.
You do the same shit 1,000 years from now, even if we stop it now.
Already be too late.
They'll just keep going.
Slow down. What's happening?
The artifact. Remember how I told you that I'd know if they started another ritual? They did, and it's big. Really, really big. Arlethan big, maybe.
You sure?
Completely. Nothing else explains that resonance.
Well, let's go take care of it then.
Okay. So how do we stop that from happening?
I don't know. I hope the ritual's just started. We might be able to stop it if they haven't gotten very far.
And if they've had the chance?
These rituals need an anchor with a physical body, so not a spirit or whatever Anaris is, which means Syrian. And there's only one way to free an anchor.
Then let's not waste any time.
Same thing with Solus kind of applies to Syrian, right? Like, he already tried to kill like 3 of his friends. We tried to talk sense into him, and then he's just back at it again. Like, how many times do you let somebody keep doing that before you make a decision to stop them and stop worrying about them and worry more about the consequences of the actions they keep deciding to make?
Rook, I've compiled the last reports from an informant. You remember our talk with Rana? She had a lead on Alia's location. A place called Sanctum Lucican.
A lost Tevinter temple, right? Does this mean you found it?
I'm pretty damn sure.
Of course you found it. And you were worried.
A bit early for the past tense.
So where is this place?
The Mirathas Catacombs, an underground temple to the god of night.
That'll be a fun
It was
journey.
sealed off and forgotten under a derelict building outside the Thread Market. I've had an eye on the catacombs. Alias haunted them before, but they span the city, endless twists, hidden passages. It's too much to sweep alone. Thanks to
Luckily for
Rana's
you, you won't
information,
be.
I was able to drop the right hints, ask the right questions. Now we've got a sanctum.
Are you ready?
Rook, I don't know. We'll find out. Ducktown's on edge. People are missing. The Threads are putting up a fight against Alia's followers, but they can't last forever. Alia's a powerful blood mage now. If I let her finish the ritual, no more chances.
So, what's our next move?
Meet at the Swan. Put the last pieces in place after that. We'll see.
And put her in the ground. It all kind of applies to what I was just saying about Solus, really. For each one of these quests. Not gonna be any second chances for Alia. What's going on, Dav?
Rook, Evka and Antoine sent word. A warden's arrived at Lavendel with news. He might have a lead on Isaiah.
Then we've got to get to Lavendel.
Agreed. Thanks.
There's a hint of music that plays sometimes in the lighthouse, which has huge undertones of Dragon Age 2's Hawk theme. I keep hearing it over and over again. Each time I do it reminds me of it. Alright, let's head over to our quests. We got lots of things to do. Before we mess with the companion stuff, let's take care of the faction stuff. Let's go get this quest out of the way. Take care of all the factions, and then I'll just start working on the rest piece by piece as we get there. Take Neve and we'll take Dav. We got so many quests to do right here that have all stacked up for our companions that we have to be on the final road.
Thanks for the tip-off.
You spend far too much time here, Dorian.
This is where all my favorite people are. Besides, I have news, and every messenger bird I've met is dreadful at nuance.
Magister Parvus, it's good to see you again.
At least someone appreciates my presence.
Weird to see you as a magister.
In the Magisterium. If someone spots you here...
Yes, I know. Can't be spotted with the shadow dragons. You worry too much, May.
Well, what do you have for us?
The cult lost people in Arlethan, and leadership has fallen to Knight Commander Lenos. He aims to bring the city to its knees.
Knight Commander Lenos is one of the Venatori, huh?
I know. While the Varantis' attack on the city could have been much worse, the people's fear in the aftermath is palpable.
And the rumors about the Archon are true. He's dead. Assassinated during the Dragon's rampage. The palace has tried to keep the news from spreading until a new Archon steps up.
And no one has?
No one dares. Not with the Venatori circling like
So they did kill the leader of Minrathous,
The risen
huh?
gods are preparing for something big. And for that, they need fear. Chaos.
Preparing for something big. I don't like the sound of that. We barely got out of Weishaupt alive, and we needed Solus's help in Arlethan.
And that's why we need to know what the Venatori are preparing for. Lenos is the key to all of it. First, we stop what he's planning for Minrathous.
And then we find out what the gods are preparing for.
Let's hope it stays that simple. One of Lenos' Venatori associates is often at the Cobbled Swan. Let's see what we can get from him.
I have like 3 quests in the
Dorian,
Cobbled Swan right now.
You can't be going yourself.
It's the Swan. Everyone goes to the Swan.
I'll head out right now.
Yeah, we have like 3 or 4 quests in the Cobbled Swan, so this might get a little messy in terms of trying to avoid hitting the wrong quest at the wrong time. Checking on my Shadow Dragon reputation.
We need to figure out the god's big plan. Dorian thinks Knight Commander Lenos is part of it. So let's track him down first.
Always good to see you in here,
It's
Rook.
getting pretty close. Let's sell up to her. Did I miss any goodies that you had last time? I didn't. You're chilling until you're maxed out, which is very soon, actually. He's very close to being maxed out. Yeah, definitely. Oh, it's the candle hub things. Yeah, I think we're still missing a bunch of those.
Be an inside job?
Protected piece of
Back to what we were
neglected
saying.
weapon.
Hard to believe. She was a warden, and she blighted all the griffins.
For the greater good, I'm sure.
Except no one bothered to ask the griffins.
Well, that's because the reason it doesn't make sense, Davrin, is because it's not what would have really happened. Even the NPCs that are written by the people who wrote the nonsense know that it doesn't make sense that that's what happened. Kind of amusing, really.
How well do you know Maevaris?
By reputation, she's been a prominent politician for a long time. And a
Someone stole the fish, gone for more, back soon.
hero to boot. We don't work together much, but from what I've seen, she's earned the good name.
Oh, we finally got into this building and it's all just cats.
Waiting too long.
Had some wardens on the ship once. Sailed them to Davrin.
I think we're coming up on the cobbled swan now. We have 3 quests in this building. Let's hope and be cautious about what we click on here.
There's Dorian.
There's Lenos's associate. According to the shadows watching him, he's nervous and doesn't talk much, but does odd jobs for coin. Interesting, yes? I'll draw him off, you check his belongings, see if you can discover any clues about Lenos's plan.
You think he'd just leave it on the table? Well, I guess he did. A map of the Minratha streets near the waterworks, and an ominous caption. Bellara and Darkspawn released. The city yields to the Horde.
Harvey, mostly gone. Warm. I don't even know what this is. Ale? Looks like he's been nursing it a while. The bedroll. It's definitely seen better days. And it's damp. Sleeping out in the rain.
Of course, they're releasing Darkspawn hordes
sounds
into
like
the
trouble.
city.
Dorian will want to know.
I am not surprised.
Lenos intends to destroy the city with Blight and Darkspawn.
Carthus. Nothing like an attack to cause chaos in a city.
You should head there immediately.
All right, let's go.
Well, in terms of how we're doing this, order-wise, it makes sense to cut off the Knight Commander before we deal with the rest of it, right? Take care of the Venatori's main source of cover before we deal with the rest.
Done.
Quick spin through him. Bye. On you. He's having a different kind of time with me. Not eating my shots like he was Neve's.
My job's done. Your turn.
Their defiance is strong.
It still surprises me how willingly and eagerly all these people folded to these gods. I mean, I understand the promise of power and all that, but just a little bit of critical thinking. You really want to be a puppet in a darkspawn-filled world? Like darkspawn that taint the ground just by existing, and you want to be around that? Like, I get you want to lead, but at the cost of what? Leading a pile of ash? Isn't that kind of the reason why, even though nuclear warheads have existed in the world since, well, World War II, nobody's ever actually popped one, because what are you going to rule over? A pile of ash? These people are so eager to be in charge of anything that they'll risk it all and sacrifice everything to be in charge of nothing.
All yours, Davrin.
It just continuously surprises me how willing they are to piss it all away for nothing. You're not gonna get through this unscathed. And most of you don't even have free will, so like, what are you doing? Like, you see the Blood Mage ritual where all your people are turned into Zergs, and you're just like, yep, that's for me. That's my leader right there. Yeah, suck on this. That's finished. It's all coming together quite nicely, I think, story-wise. I mean, it's not going to be winning any awards for best story, but it makes sense for the most part. There's some details that I have huge disagreements with the griffins and stuff. But
something tore through these gates. Something big.
Hold that thought. Seems like I managed to figure out the stuttering issue too. This game was having really big stuttering issues. My recordings, not actually in gameplay, which I guess is something to talk about.
We're not alone.
In terms of gameplay, this game has ran really, really smooth. The only issue I've ever had is with the recording on OBS. And all I really did to figure out and stop that stuttering from happening was turn down a couple graphic settings that I know are a little chunky on CPU. Like, the game is pretty CPU intensive, but aside from that, everything has ran really smooth. And even with max settings, the game ran great on my system.
Get clear.
I have a 46-day and a Ryzen 9. And maxed out, it ran flawlessly. It was just my recordings that were getting some stuttering issues.
Let's go again.
I turned everything to around about medium, and the recordings have been perfect since, so.
I've got the setup to do the rest.
The game performs pretty well, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, there's a nice.
God, I love the two-handed build. I think Sword and Shield might be a little more effective in terms of DPS and overall things you can do.
Always more blight.
But running around with a big two-handed maul and just bonking the shit out of everything like a wrecking ball is very satisfying. I'd probably recommend two-handed if you play a warrior.
There's so many of them.
Everything's crumbling down here. Might be tricky to get out.
At least a dozen people have been lost trying to map this place. But I've mentioned that.
Yeah. As long as the Knight Commander doesn't get out. Figure out the rest later.
We need to find the other boil. Find the blight boils. We need to clear the way and keep pushing. We got it. Way should be clear.
This is probably in the same underground sewer system that she was talking about finding Aelia in too when they found her sanctum. Probably all in the same kind of vicinity. Honestly, I'm surprised she isn't in on this big old ground plot either. At least we'll take care of her Templar support and make it much easier to crush the cult.
Shadow dragons? How did you find it? Predatory, to me!
Good luck.
Do you think you've won? Do you think you can stop the Venatory? All the risen gods?
Correct, I do.
But I can take you.
The Shadow dragons have brought nothing but chaos to the city.
At least we're not trying to blight it.
That will be punished!
Got things ready.
Can't say he'll be missed.
Let's look around, see what we find.
And 2 less Venatori in his office too. Interesting. Lenos, preparations for the Risen God's ritual demand more soldiers. Sow chaos within the city. Make the people desperate. Tell them the Venatori and the gods will deliver them. Do not disappoint.
The Risen God's ritual. That's what the gods in the Venatori are preparing for.
And of course they would trust the Knight Commander, being that his station is to protect people. Let's get the chest first. Ancient elves drew from the magic of the celestial spheres and wove their greatest enchantments beneath a darkened sun. A full eclipse approaches, which is an auspicious portent for our risen gods, Elia.
These star charts predict an eclipse to make magic stronger.
So a ritual augmented by an eclipse? That's the plan?
We already heard a little about that before, so it doesn't exactly come as a surprise. The Magisterium is ours. The Templars are ours. The palace can no longer hide that Archon Radonus is dead. The city's spirit will soon break, and the Venatori shall rise.
Lenos' documents. They detail the Venatori's long-term plans and what they want to do to Davinter. All this, the ritual, the eclipse, and the Venatori plans. We have to bring this to the Shadow Dragons immediately.
Time to report back to the Shadow Dragons.
I'd say so. Put as many flies in the ointment for this as we can, although I'd suspect there's not much to be done. At this point, it's kind of all in motion, but we did take one of the heads of the snake off.
Evil old gods, rituals, waiting for the stars. It's about as Tevinter as blood magic and hubris. Learning about the gods' plans is wonderful, of course. But the lists of magisters you got your hands on, Now there's the real gold.
You've looked at it already. Of course you have.
Information on their backers, the ties to illegal slavery. Don't you see what this means?
This is power, May. Imagine becoming Archon and using this against those who've been hurting the people for years.
You, on the throne, Dorian.
Tell me that wouldn't be a splendid way to bring about real change.
I would trust Dorian in the seat of power.
Helping people. If we can get something good out of all this, I'm for it.
You've given us an opening, Rook, and believe me, we shall seize upon it.
He is the same person he was in Inquisition. He is
Dorian
a good
wants to use
candidate
it
for
to
the throne.
crush our enemies by whatever means necessary. I prefer to use it to rally the people. I say we make the information known. Allow the people to see the real justice served. Prove that from now on, we work for them.
We tried that already. Or have you forgotten the Lucerni? I no longer trust that political machine will work in our favor. No. We must get at the root of the problem before they can react. A more forceful approach. Destroy them and their networks utterly.
Swords and spies and blackmail? The devious means you learned in the South? If we go outside the
The
system,
devious means he learned in the South is swords and spies and blackmail.
have to do this in the open.
Do you know what
Show the
soil you're
people of
standing on?
Tevinter that we're here for them.
You're in fucking
We're
Tevinter.
shadow dragons. It's right there in the name. You supported this because you knew the system didn't work for the people.
I'm Team Dorian,
The
yeah.
point was to work in the shadows until we could work in the light. And Rook has brought us what we need.
May, the Imperium's politics burned you once and you still...
Enough. We're not the only ones who have a stake in this.
God.
Rook, you have been instrumental in all this. Which strategy do you prefer?
The way she said that he learned spies and sword work in the South. Like Tevinter isn't just as backstabby.
necessarily. Sometimes a mere threat of violence is sufficient.
He learned that from his friends in the South. I hear Ferelden settled a succession crisis with a duel.
It worked. Astoundingly.
We're not Ferelden.
Don't you settle disputes for succession here with assassination and fucking blood magic? Fuck you.
The game is rigged. Why play by rules crooked magisters already exploit? Clear the board and start over. If they're gone, we can fill the magisterium with those who respect the office. Then we'll actually see progress.
I'm inclined to agree, Dorian.
Shouldn't you be on the same side?
We are on the same side. We both know what Tevinter needs. How best to get it, that's the question.
If we went with Dorian's plan, I'd support it fully. But we won't, because he'll come around and realize that I'm right.
And
Hardly.
I'd absolutely back you up on that, if you were right, which you aren't.
We'll see.
Will we?
Jesus.
What sort of change are you trying to achieve?
For a start, slavery. Abhorrent. It needs to go no more.
Agreed.
And Tevinter has been ruled by the Altus mages for all of its history. That must change. The Zoparati, non-mages, deserve a say in their own governance.
And all that's just the beginning of what will undoubtedly be a long journey.
The Maevaris here thinks that she's gonna be able to topple all that without breaking a few eggs and getting all the... You think the Altus mages and all that big lineage of them ruling over non-mages like cattle is just gonna go away because it's out on the line, you ask nicely? You know, at the start of this game, there was a giant blood magic spotlight tower killing people just for being out on the streets during that whole thing. But she just... Yeah. I'm still stuck on the you learn spies and violence from the South. Like, Tevinter is literally built on blood and violence and slavery and subversion and literally fucking your entire population into submission with slavery and blood magic and mind control. Like, you understand that your people are the ones that were gonna commit blood magic on Dorian to change his personality, right? Because his father wanted a fucking legacy. But he learned violence in the South. Blow it at your ass.
Maevaris,
This girl's delusional.
you really believe making this evidence public will work?
Dorian wants to work behind the scenes, but once again, it's the Magisters and Highbloods pulling the Imperium strings. That doesn't inspire. It's a tactic used by our enemies. We need to show Tevinter that we can be different.
Unless they find some way to bury it? Or leverage their wealth, power, and status as they often have before?
Politics is a long game. If we use force against our enemies, our allies will remember it.
Oh my god. Well, it doesn't look like it's gonna let me pick, so...
to choose who will be Archon. But I'm not even from here. I can't decide.
Then talk to the ones who are. See what they say. Asher and Tarquin, Neve, Gallus, they're all a part of this, just as you are. We should all be comfortable with whatever course we take.
All right. I'll go do that.
I mean, shit, I'm Team Dorian. Dorian is the solution to this.
Grand news about Lenos. One less crooked Templar in town.
Yeah, the city is better off.
The city will be better off with him gone.
We can hope.
Lenos made my life miserable. Rana's too.
I hear he started out different.
You might actually get a decent Templar order now.
But I didn't know that, Lenos. And I'm not going to mourn the one I did. Still, I'll thank the bastard for writing everything down. And delivering it to us all neat.
Dorian and Maevaris still have to decide what to do with everything we got from Lenos.
I just don't know enough about Tevinter to know what's best for its people.
I suspect this decision will determine Tevinter's path for years to come.
Then Dorian's way is my choice. He knows you don't stop to talk when you find a hole in the enemy's defenses.
Dorian is a brash rebel.
And Maevaris too much of a romantic.
I think the people will appreciate Maevaris returning as the leader they've always wanted to see.
No. They'll appreciate their lives actually changing for the better.
I agree.
What do you think might happen, depending on who leads?
With May, she gets power back again. Gets one more shot at changing Tevinter from the top down. Worst that could happen is nothing. But that's what you risk when all you rely on is hope. But with Dorian...
We could get chaos, strife. Things might get harder before they get easier. If they get easier.
I'll take my chances.
And whoever leads will have the Shadow Dragon's support, right?
Count on it.
We'll keep fighting. For Dorian. Or for Maevaris.
What else is there to do in this town, anyway? It rains all the damn time.
Yeah. Maevaris already had her shot. And if we do it her way, then she's gonna have to deal with all the political machinations and all the Machiavellian bullshit that got her kicked out in the first place. She'll just do it again. With Dorian, we can remove all that nonsense and start fresh with a clean board. Clean board is exactly what Tevinter needs. This shithole has like hundreds of years of slavery and blood magic and death. When you are treating cancer, you don't just run around chasing symptoms, you treat the source of the disease, which is exactly what Dorian is trying to do. What do you think, Neve? You have a far more intimate opinion on all this.
Lenos is gone. We got information about the Venatori's plans, the god's ritual. I'd call that a good day.
I meant about Maevaris and Dorian. We all want change. Who will be more effective in getting it?
Oh, that. You're dragging me into it?
And also, Dorian is just... Maybe we need less Tevinter. That's something Maevaris doesn't seem to understand, but maybe the solution for Tevinter is less Tevinter. She's way too Tevintered up. Maybe Dorian's experience in Ferelden, like she so eloquently put as a bad thing, is exactly what Tevinter needs. You know, some influence from the outside world that doesn't have slavery and blood magic and a corrupt Templar order.
You know me. I'm trouble. But more than that, it's your city. Your Tevinter. And I care about what you think.
Sweet talker.
Try.
Maevaris Talani has been in this game for decades. She's dedicated and ruthless when she needs to be. Dorian Parvis is a wild card. Flashy and inventive, he'll keep his enemies on their toes. But damn it, there's no right answer. They both play the game well, and Tevinter's ready for change. But the best way to get it, who can make it happen? I wish I knew.
Well, if you have no input, then I guess I'll go with my gut, which is Dorian.
Maker. A full quarter of the Magisterium supporting a cult. Bending the knee to these risen old gods just for a taste of more power.
Well, they're all blood mages.
Can they not see they're only tools for the gods? So they can destroy the world?
You're all blood mages. That's what you do. You use things and people for power. You're all used to.
You ask too much, Mevaris.
Look at me. Such a fool.
You are.
Ah, it's Rook. You spoke with the others.
What do you think? Who should be leading the charge from here on?
What happens after it's decided who'll lead?
Well, Lenos is gone, the cult's numbers are down, and they're scrambling to prepare for the god's ritual. They'll be distracted. It's a perfect opportunity to get our preparations in order.
All plans contingent on surviving the current disaster, of course.
I'm gonna go with Dorian.
Dorian should lead.
Then it is decided. Of course, it only makes sense, but... Ha! Look at me! The sudden pressure.
You won't be alone. All of us are behind you. The Shadow Dragons, the city, her people.
It will take all of them to overcome the risen gods.
You have experience with overcoming crazy odds. You helped us with the
People
rift.
know they don't want blight-ridden fiends in their city. They don't need me to tell them. I can, however, show them how to fight. Gods, cults, evil magisters, nothing will stand in our way of forging a new Tevinter.
And I know you have the correct moral code that I want this place to go down. Mevaris is an unknown entity. And she, like I said, she already had a shot. She failed. Working with the Shadow Dragons, the team thwarted a Venatori plot to crush Minrathous and uncovered crucial information about the Magisterium that paves the way for a new Tevinter Archon. Dorian Pavus, Archon of Tevinter, huh? Yeah, I'm sure the title will suit him just fine. Maybe there's some hope for Tevinter after all.
Right away.
You are now max rank.
About that damn Knight Commander. Good riddance.
Welcome. What do we have for you now? You have Imperium's Resolve. That's heavy armor. Resistance to fire, cold, necrotic, and electric. Maximum resistance. And you can no longer deal any of those elemental damages. So we're not going to be purchasing it, but it's kind of cool nonetheless. Let's get that purple for Neve. Bleed and shard. We're not using a bleed build. Rank your notebook up too. We'll obviously grab that. Permanently boost resistances by 1% when acquired. We'll of course take that. And I think we're about good. Perfect.
Come back soon. We'll have more.
Another faction maxed out. Right. What else did we have here? Something's coming. That's in the wetlands, so we'll take care of that. How long have we been going? 44 minutes. We should probably split the episode. If I start another one right now, we'll be going for hours, so... We have both quests here too, so I could technically do the faction quest and Davrin's thing next episode, but careful. You're almost cooked. Yeah, that seems like the best course of action, so we'll split it. And then I'll take care of Davrin and the wetlands in the same one next time, so thank you for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, you're feeling particularly generous, please do check out all the links in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon with more Dragon Age the Veilguard. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Peace. Alrighty. And a 1, a 2, a 1, 2, 3. What is happening, everybody? I hope you're all having a wonderful day, and welcome back to Dragon Age the Veilguard. Let's take care of the Warden's plight here. Two things to do. We got Davrin's personal quest right there, but first, I want to see what's going on with this blight stuff and the Wardens.
In the wetlands,